Good evening, this is Shakira Kill from Madison, Alabama. I did a video 8 weeks ago and I gave you guys information on my first rental, which was my first primary home that I converted into rental 2 years ago. So this next one was the first rental that I actually purchased beside the primary one. So I considered it my first purchase rental, but it was the second rental property. So I acquired this one for $380. At that time, I didn't know much about the home equity line of credit, so I went ahead and did a refinance on my primary home, my former primary home, and got the money, the deposit for that house. And the refinance cost me $11,000 for the closing costs. And this home, I bought it for $380. At that time, the market was hot. I never negotiated. I offered $380 and I asked for $3,000 in closing costs. They accepted the $380 and they gave me the $3,000 in closing costs. But in the end, $3,000, they didn't give me $3,000 in closing costs. They gave me the washer and dryer and the refrigerator. They said I was equivalent to $3,000 because I asked for that to stay. So I had to pay the closing costs by myself. At that time, I didn't know much about the loan. After I already lost $11,000 refinancing, to close on the house, it cost me $19,000 because they used $8,000 to buy down the points, and I got it at 7%. I don't know, $8,000 for points, and end up getting still 7%. I didn't know much about it. They ate my eye on this house, so the closing cost came out to $19,000. I put $80,000 down. And so for the first couple of years, I had a management company managing that house. I didn't get much from it, but starting January of this year, I decided to take over management myself. So all the property I'm managing it myself. So this property, the cost on it, just the purchase was too high. And because it's a big house, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, and is in a good neighborhood, I was able to give it to someone else for $2,700. The mortgage on that house is $2,325. So for $2,700, after you minus $2,325, we get like $375 monthly for cash flow. But I'm drowning in debt. I'm not going to blame the renters. All the renters are cash flowing positively, but I over leveraged and took too much debt, credit cards, people that I'm owing and stuff like that. So I'm telling you now, the second renter gave me a $375, but right now I have about 40 grand in credit card debt. One of my friends called me and she been scared for me and worried about me. And when I asked her why, she said, because I'm just looking at how fast you're buying these homes. And my friend, one day, if somebody start paying, and I don't know how you're going to manage if something ever happened. Yes, I told her, don't worry, because I myself, I'm scary too. I had a student eviction. I had to pay for 2 mortgages plus mine. So when you're doing stuff like that, don't rush in it and spend every penny you have, because I've had sleepless nights. But as God could have it, I have people in my corner that trust me and trying to make this happen for me. And I'm going to give shout out to all those people. There were times I didn't have money to pay the mortgages, and I had to call out of my husband, my sister, my friend Chuku, even now my friend Sepsi is tipped in. When they say the struggle is real, it was real, because that time I've credited money for someone in Liberia to be able to meet my expenses for the month. I think it's a bad idea to spend all of your money and don't have no reserve. Currently, I have 0 reserve. So if something happening right now, it's gonna be bad. But I'm trusting God that He will carry me through this storm. There have times I've woken up in the middle of the night just doing calculation, because my stuff is about to go overdrive. Last month, I was going to go overdrive by 2 grand, and I called around, couldn't get anybody. I called my sister, and my sister was able to transfer that 2 grand to me. Not that I didn't have money out there, but there were a lot of the rents were late. So my sister transferred that money to me. So having people like that in your corner kind of helps a whole lot. My sister being like a saving grace. She's someone who believes in me, and I have a lot of people who believe in me and have surrounded themselves around me and making this business a success. So for the group home, up there in that group home, I don't have anyone in that group home yet, so I have to pay the mortgage from the cash flow. I had a couple of leads last week, and I had to turn down one of the patients that contacted me. This was a total care patient. I didn't want to take total care as my initial patient because total care is a higher level of care. So I turned down that patient. So that house is still empty. So the next time I come back to you, I'm going to tell you about rental number 3. And another thing is, when I tell people, say, don't spend every penny you have because you never know when emergency will come. And it's always good to have cash reserve. It's always good. That way, if you have high blood pressure like me, you're not sitting and worrying, how am I going to pay all these mortgages? Because now my mortgage expense every month is close to $20,000, including, I think it's over $20,000, including my primary resident. And having no reserve, what I depend on now that will push come to shove is my stocks. And then luckily, the stocks were going down crazy over the last couple of weeks. A friend of mine that I encouraged to do investment called me last week and said, you told me to do this investment stuff and invest in stock, and the stock market is crashing. What do I do? I said, if I were you, put in more money. If I had more money, I would have bought stock like crazy. But that's what I'm saying. I spent every penny I had. So I'm just living by his grace, one day at a time. And so that's cash flow number 2. The next time we come next week, hopefully, I can bring you cash flow the cash flow on the 3rd rental. And this channel, I created a channel to kind of list all of my mistakes. I'm not your financial advisor, but at least so that when you decide to do something like this, you can learn from the mistakes that I made to avoid those mistakes so that you can be more successful. So if you like my content, hit like and subscribe. Hopefully when I come back, I will tell you about rental number 3. So maybe you might want to ask me how I got the 80 grand and the 19 grand to close. The 80,000 down payment, the 19,000 came from the money I took out of my first primary home. That was the down payment for that home. And a lot of times people say home is not an investment. I disagree, because if I didn't have that primary home, I wouldn't have had access to $250,000 to be able to start this business. Hopefully, I know at the beginning of everything is always hard, so I expect challenges in the beginning, but I'm hopeful that God will carry us through, that this business is going to be successful. Hopefully, I can build generational wealth for my kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids that I might not ever see, but they're going to learn my name from the assets that I'm going to leave behind. If you like my videos, hit like and subscribe. I got 100 subscribers. I know we can do it. My plan is for now to the end of the year to at least have 500 subscribers. Share my video, hit like and subscribe. God bless you. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully next week. Thank you.